All righty. Hold on one second. So, okay, how's it feeling? How's it feeling, Nicole?
It's good. I'm like very self-conscious about this because it's like, I don't know. Like I was telling Teresa yesterday when we did a read through of it, like I feel like I'm judging this character as myself and I'm trying really hard to not.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just don't feel like a full connection. And then I'm like still getting in my head and like, you're not in your body enough. And then it's very
Yeah.
hard for me to drop into
Well,
this
it's
right now.
so fun that you're going for something. That to
Yeah.
me is exciting. That you were like, you know what? I can't feel this person, so I'm just gonna go for something and see how it feels. For me too, playing with vocal rhythms and accents and sort of voice patterning and all of that, it can often be, if not a total way in, something that really opens me up to explore.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate that.
Thank you.
One thing I think we definitely can make cuts to this scene.
Hmm.
As a matter of fact, I mean, the Muse of Fire stuff is fun. I even think we can just do like a quick thing about the Gracias stuff and then go into the Muse of Fire stuff, because I think the most important stuff is about the relationship.
Okay.
But yeah, so you guys are best friends.
Yes.
And how did you meet, Nicole?
Um, I honestly I haven't read the full play, so I don't know the actual answer within the text. But I'm assuming based on the characters, it was like some tea party or some like garden party that they both attended together and they hit it off.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, what is this called? It's something Ganesh, right?
A perfect
A
Ganesh.
perfect Ganesh. Um, well, how much do you relate to a garden party?
Pretty much none at all.
Okay, great. So let's find something, then let's find something that will connect you, because I think one invitation, we don't have to worry about the whole play because I've never read the whole play. As a matter of fact, I mean, this play is many, many years old.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it in a very long time. But I think on the one hand, let's stay in this space where you're making a really fun commitment, Nicole, where you're going for a really like distinct commitment. And yet to find the specificity of this life, I think we really need to think about the two of you and what this relationship is. You know, I mean, one thing that I think is beautiful is that there is an age difference between the two, like between Nicole and Teresa, and we don't have to ignore that. Now, it doesn't mean that, you know, it's sort of like when you think of Dustin Hoffman and oh my gosh, I'm blanking, The Graduate. Who's the actress?
What is her name? I can see her face. I know who you're talking about.
Anyway, Anne Bancroft. Anyway,
Yes.
So they were only like 7 years apart, right?
Mhm.
Because he was playing young 20s, but he was in his late 20s, and she was playing early 40s, but she was in her mid 30s. So, you know, it was one of those things. So your actual age is insignificant. But what's interesting to me is this friendship, because, you know, I mean, I love that about my life, that I've had the opportunity to have friends that weren't just from my, you know, that I didn't just graduate high school with, that are the same sort of age bracket as me. And so we can think in terms of that. You guys are both, well, we know that you have a child and a husband, right, Nicole?
Mhm. Yeah.
And do you have a child and a husband, Teresa?
Me. Oh.
We both do, but they died in the play,
Oh my God.
tragically. Yes.
Wait, who died in the play?
They both, she had a son who was gay and was murdered. And I had a son who was a drug addict and died.
Holy shit. Excuse my
Yeah.
language. Okay. I never knew that. I've never
Yeah.
read this play, and I haven't seen this scene in so long. Okay. That's huge. So did you meet because of that? Like, did you meet in a grieving or bereavement group or something like that? Or did the sons know each other? Or
You know, I haven't read the play because I'm waiting to get it, but I've read a synopsis of it. And so I don't know where they met.
okay,
you know?
well, let's use that, because I find that piece of information talking about relationship is not something you can avoid, right?
Mhm.
And the other thing too is Barbados. But like, because I'm thinking about like now all of a sudden you guys travel together. Like, I think a really easy choice to make off the bat would be that this traveling, you know, that the connection began in this bereavement group, and that the traveling is a part of how both of you are processing your losses, you know?
Yeah.
And also, I mean, we could have it that your sons knew each other as well. I mean, because I discussed the age thing. One thing that's interesting, you know, I have first graders, but I'm 47 years old, and especially living in Georgia. In California, this was less of a thing because I knew a lot more people that had children, you know, later in life like me. And, but here it's like other first grade moms are like 24, you know what I mean? So like, they could literally be like my children.
Yeah.
And yet it's so exciting because we do have this space where our worlds come together. And so there are these beautiful, actually, yeah, one of the closest friends I've made here, her mom is literally 3 months older than me. So, you know, so it's one of those things. And so, you know, we can explore that, like the sons actually knew each other, but this idea of having met in a bereavement group, I think is really interesting because it's information we have, we can make a quick choice about it, and it's personal and it's deep. So we've already activated a depth in this friendship. And also it makes sense that you guys are such different personalities, or that you've been taking such a different trajectory, you and taking these self-help groups, Teresa, you know? So I think we can use that more. For now, let's do a second read, and we can start with the Gracia stuff. I think cut the line about a peon, him being a peon and you being a terrible tourist. I think we get it. We get that saying gracias to somebody that speaks, you know, English and Hindi and who knows what other languages, most likely not Spanish, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, or whatever. I mean, maybe he does speak Spanish. Yeah, I think we can cut that. And then just let's quick cut the bagel stuff and just go from things have offended me, and we'll find our way to Muse of Fire. Cause I just want to get those, I want to get to the relationship sooner. But I think we can start with the Gracias thing. Okay. Now, the other thing too, oh yeah.
The bagel, what,
like when she's
that remark about Jewish food, that line is what
yeah,
you're talking about?
Yeah, all that stuff. We can cut that.
Then she has to tell.
Because it's a little bit like outdated, but I don't think that it adds anything really exciting to the relationship or the script. If you guys disagree, we can totally keep it.
I'm just trying to find out where the line that will you keep your voice down, where she says that to me. So I need to figure out what that's going to be.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. For now, I mean, whatever. Say we'll just figure it out. We'll just make a jump in the script, and if it doesn't make sense, we'll figure it out later.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing too is where are you? Where do you guys live? Where do you live? Where are you from?
Connecticut.
Connecticut. India and Connecticut are not close. How many hours do you estimate you've been traveling to get to this hotel?
Oh my God.
I mean, 12 at the least. 30 plus, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like I know to go from, I want to say from Atlanta to South Africa, my brother was going there for his work for a while. I mean, it was, the travel was well over 24 hours each way. You know what I mean? So, so there's that. Right? Did you sleep on the plane? Did you not sleep on the plane? Did one of you just snooze away on the plane and the other one didn't? You know, these are little intricate specificities that we can do that will make the relationship so much more specific. So, who slept really well on the plane?
Like Teresa.
I think I slept well on the plane.
Because I'll tell you, with all this, she may make fun of all this like soul searching, but it has brought you a sense of inner peace that you can't put into words, Teresa. And you did not sleep a wink, Nicole.
No.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So here we go. So again, don't worry about incorporating the bereavement. Just us talking about it has already created relationship. But, and use the space, you know, like, are you just sitting down on the beds? Are the beds comfortable? You can walk in a door, like however you guys want to do it. We may not get all the way to the end of the scene, but let's just see where it goes.
Okay. Really, Catherine?
What?
That is so patronizing.
What is?
Speaking Spanish to an Indian? What is that? Your generic third world thank you?
I'm sorry, but I don't know the word for thank you in Hindi.
Well, it is a gracias.
He knew what I meant.
He would have known what you meant in your native language.
Now, which bed would you like?
Really of no interest to me.
Well, I wish you adopted such a generous attitude towards me. Oh, I'll take this one then. I hope you remembered the alarm clock. That was your responsibility.
I'm sorry, but if we're going to travel together, you've got to understand something about me. I am very sensitive to the feelings of others.
You could have fooled me.
Frankly, you've said and done several things that have offended me since we got on the plane. No, offended is too strong a word. Let's say embarrassed. There. I've said it and I'm glad. It's all, the air is cleared.
Don't stop now, Margaret. I'm all ears.
You're sure?
Oh, absolutely. If we're going to travel together for the next 2 weeks, let's have absolute candor. I hate that outfit.
Be serious. That remark about Jewish food just now, I could have died comparing one of their gods to a bagel.
He compared him to a bagel. I only said he sounded like something Jewish you ate.
Will you keep your voice down?
No, and stop saying that. I am sick and tired of being told to keep my voice down when I'm not wrong. And even if I were in the wrong, you have no business telling me to keep my voice down. I'm not your cowed daughter or your catatonic husband, and I'm not about to become your cowed and catatonic traveling companion. I'm me, you're you. Respect the difference or go home. I came to India to have an adventure. This is not an adventure. This is a same old shitola.
Well, it's nice to know what your best friend really thinks of you and your family.
I didn't mean that. I'm very fond of Joy, and Alan's just quiet around us. I'm sure he's quite talkative when the two of you are alone.
Not especially.
I'll give you O for Muse of Fire. I probably do it just to annoy you, like you and the Lalique.
Every time you say it, I say to myself, oh, for someone who didn't say, oh, for the Muse of Fire at the drop of a hat.
Oh, it wouldn't bother me if you did.
It's the difference between us.
If you can't respect it, at least observe it.
You've changed. Ever since you went to those lectures in Bridgeport, nurturing your inner child. You know what I say? Stifle him. If we all nurtured our inner child, Catherine, this planet would come to a grinding halt while we all had a good cry.
Well, maybe it should.
Oh, for a Muse of Fire is right. Bartender, one fiery muse, a decent analyst, and an extra dry martini.
Don't say that. I think it's wonderful what you've done. I couldn't have done it.
I finally know what the skin of your teeth means. It's a layer you don't want to be involved with. Anyway, I'm sorry I let it get under my skin. Not you, it.
It's Shakespeare, Muse of Fire.
I know that. That is so patronizing, telling me that it's Shakespeare.
I didn't know it until they showed it on public television. It's the first line of Henry V. How hard it is to really describe anything. And I have that trouble, don't you?
I don't know, probably.
Muse of Fire is my talisman. My way of telling myself, savor this moment, Catherine Brittany Mitchell. Relish it. It's important. You'll never be here or feel this way again.
This is what I mean, those lectures in Bridgeport.
That's
Just
not
allow-
nurturing my inner.
We're going to go back a little bit. Teresa, just put your hand on your chest, like where your heart is. And just breathe in, allow your eyes to close and just breathe in and say, oh, for a Muse of Fire.
Oh, for a Muse of Fire.
And Henry V was, your son was into Shakespeare, like even from a young age. And you took him actually to the Alabama Shakespeare Festival one year. You guys drove all the way down with each other. And so now breathe in and say, oh, for Muse of Fire one more time.
Oh, for a muse of fire.
And now look at her and tell her the reason why you say it again.
Muse of fire is my talisman. It's my way of telling myself, savor this moment, Catherine Brittany Mitchell. Relish it. It's important. You'll never be here or feel this way again.
This is what I mean, those lectures in Bridgeport.
That's not nurturing my inner child. It's Shakespeare. Telling you you can be a pain in the ass is nurturing my inner child.
Now I'm a pain in the ass.
All right, good, you guys. We'll stop there. Awesome. Oh, great. Perfect. We're finding it. That's exciting. Let's talk about that. How'd that feel, Teresa?
Just awkward because I don't have enough stuff to work with. Getting up was I have to work with that. You know, if I had my purse with me, I could be shuffling through it. I saw that Nicole had some things that she was doing. I'm So
I think it's a great idea. To have props and stuff. Like, are you somebody that travels with a backpack? Are you somebody that travels with a big rolly suitcase? Like, is it,
right.
We can have so much fun with it.
Right. That big carry-on bag that
Yeah.
Crap in it. Yeah. But it's given me a lot of ideas in my head, so.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. I could see for both of you, not only was the commitment itself opening up stuff in that second read, but it seemed as though both of you were discovering the potential of even going further. Because yes, this thing about the sons, that you both had these sons that were friends, or that were, sort of the same age, and that you lost them around the same time that you reconnected in this bereavement group or whatever the case may be, and then are traveling together and try to rediscover together. And then Teresa is your character, obviously, but do you have other children? Do you have a husband, or was your son the one person you connected with?
I do have a husband. I don't know if I have another son, but I think not.
Okay.
And in my head, I just see one,
Okay. Yeah. So there is this interesting, to me, there's so much to work with using the text, but really just like really diving into what this story is becoming because it's the two of you. Like I said, there is something that I relate to it because I have, my one friend here, I knew, like when we discovered that I was the same age as her mom, because I forget that I mean, whatever, like age is a number, right? So I forget that I'm not also 25, even though it was 22 years ago, you know what I mean? And so, but I
have a friend like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So there are these moments where, that like, and it, again, it's not even necessarily has anything to do, but it can have to do with the number of years we spend on this planet, although not necessarily. But this, the fact that both of you are processing your bereavement in very different ways. Both of you are making very different choices about how to grieve and how to rediscover yourself and what this new life looks like. And it almost does have that feeling. On the one hand, the conflict is so delightful because it's so human and so familiar, but it does have a little bit of that feeling of like, Teresa, you're liberating yourself. And Nicole, for you, it's still a way to escape, a way to, and not that it's not a little bit of both of that for both of you, but I think we can play into that dynamic of what what this space means to each of you. I mean, who knows, Teresa, maybe you're setting up a little altar. Maybe one of your weekends at Bridgeport was, how to set up a personal altar and you start burning incense, or maybe you bought a package of incense, from the vendor outside the hotel before you came in. And Nicole was like, oh, don't you burn that in the room. Oh, that's, I mean, who knows, but we can have fun with on the one hand, the part that's already alive in the story, but then also really taking advantage of what it means that you two are the best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, the depth of that I think is huge.
Yeah. There's a lot to think about.
Yeah. Like actually I heard in the second go, you talking about her husband and her daughter, like to talk smack about her husband and her daughter is like, oh, how could you do that after what you guys have been through? And so to me, that makes that line even more meaningful for both of you. you know, because what does it take to say something that sharp to somebody that's also in grief, or, you know, has at least, you know, has gone through the same kind of grief that you have. And, you know, and then what is it? How does that land then? Again, it's not, it's a totally different, it's interesting. Everything is higher stakes. How'd that feel for you, Nicole?
Yeah, that felt like a lot more connected for me already. And like, yeah, when she said that line about the husband and the daughter, I was just like, bitch. And then when Teresa, like you took that moment to be like, this is my talisman and whatever, I literally got like shivers. Like I just felt like so connected to it after like having even that just like small discussion. So it felt really good and I'm excited to work more on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. Any other thoughts, Teresa?
No.
Yeah.
No. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm cool. This is cool. I'm super excited. Okay, awesome, you guys.